Hey there everybody, my name is Moshang of Groovesizer, and today I'd love to give you a tour around our brand new instrument. It is the Mynah sampler. So let's have a quick look at the hardware over here. What we have is an OLED display here, a tiny one. To the right of that are one potentiometer. We have a NeoPixel display with 16 NeoPixels. We have 16 step buttons over here, as well as a function row with 8 buttons. 6 of these are our individual voices. And then as we tour around the instrument, on the right we have a toggle switch, a slide switch that selects between our microphone and line inputs. We have a 3.5mm input jack here for the line input. We have a MIDI input also on 3.5mm jack. Moving over to the left, we have a toggle switch for our built-in speaker. We have a larger toggle switch for our battery. And then we have our MIDI output here as well, also on 3.5mm jack. On the back, we have a USB-C port, which connects us to the computer and provides power in this case. We have our SD card slot. We load samples of SD card. And over here we have our output, also on 3.5mm jack. So let's have a look at our voices. We have these 6 voices. You select them with these buttons. So voice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all identical, and each one of them plays one of 16 samples. So a song can have 16 samples here on our sample slots. And our voices can play one. So right now they're all set to play a different voice. Each one has a different color. Each voice is set to play a different sample slot, I should have said. But you can automate that so that you can play any sample slot on any step. Now let's have a look at the different parameters for our voices. Starting here, if I hold F1, this is the modifier that lets us select all of our parameters related to voices. I'm on voice 1, which if I press play here on F8, is currently just set to play a kick drum. Let's have a look then. F1 and A1. So our step buttons are labeled A and B, the A row and the B row. A1 to 8, B1 to 8. If I hold F1 and A1, I get sample select. And I can select my sample now in this mode, as with all modes, with a potentiometer. So I can go through and then select, any one of our 16 sample slots. And the way that you would probably more often do it is to use these increment and decrement buttons. Are voice 1 and 2 are increment and decrement if you hold F1. And so I can step through with F1 held, and if voice 2, you can step through them. And that's how you adjust all parameters finally. If you see a little value number in the top up right corner there, it means that there's more than one menu page on the same button combination. So F1 plus A1 in this case gives us our sample select and sample browser. Our browser works as you might expect, loading samples off SD card into one of the 16 slots. We can move through the different folders and then use the B row 1 and 8 to navigate down and up, so into a folder and out of the folder. And if we find a sample that we like, let me scroll through them with the increment and decrement buttons here. Well, this is actually not a great example. Let me go to, say, this will work, kick drums, go into that folder, step through, and you will hear a preview. And if you find one that you like, you will press F8 again. It will prompt you to select a slot. Our voice 1 is playing the kick, so let's select voice 1. I'll hold it, and then it will now play that sample. Cool. So that's F1 and A1. Let's go to F1 and A2. This is sample pitch. Cool. So using the potentiometer with nothing held, I am adjusting all of the steps at once. I can, however, also hold some steps, for example, these ones, and adjust the pitch only there. And to reset that, I'll just hold nothing and adjust it again. And the other neato thing that works for most parameters in most modes is that you can automate that. And that, again, is done holding F1. You also see F1 as a record a symbol there. So I play, hold F1. And I've recorded automation there. So let me reset that. So that is our pitch, sample pitch. Up next we have fine tune. So if you have a melodic sample that you want to live in the same world as your other samples melodically, you're going to have to tune it. That's what that tuner is for. You can also, that's just for tuning by ear related to the other instruments that are playing. But if you want, you can get a reference tone. So we have a tune manual like this that will loop the sample and give you a reference tone that you can adjust it to. Or also on that same button combination, you will get an tune auto that will attempt to do that automatically. So you just hold this step and it will attempt to tune that sample, although of course with the kick drum it's not really going to work very well. Cool. Up next we have sample velocity. So out of the box, velocity adjusts the volume of the sample, but you can also send velocity to filter cutoff. So we have a filter per voice, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. Up next we have sample pan, which should work as you expect. Yeah, one thing to note is although these voices are all monophonic, obviously any voice can be panned in the stereo spectrum as you like. And then after pan we have our delay send. Similarly reverb send. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that for right now. Then we have a volume on A8, F1 plus A8. Volume works as you expect, although also there's a shortcut. So for any of these voices, you can just hold the voice and adjust with the potentiometer to change the volume without changing to that mode. One more thing, also on that same button combination, F1 plus A8, is our voice boost. So if you have a particularly quiet sample, you can apply up to 24 dBs of boost to that. And that completes our first row. Now let's have a look at the B row. These are all, of course, still per voice settings. And as I mentioned before, these all work the same for all 6 of the voices. So up next, we have our sample start and end. You cycle through them. Again, you'll notice there are multiple pages to this one. So sample start, sample end, and then crop as well. This works as you expect. Hard to hear on a kick drum, but let's attempt it anyways. Oh, you can hear it. Here we go. And then you can, after you've adjusted your start and ends, obviously you can also crop it down to just that selection, and that's useful because the longer the sample, it affects your loading times and just how much memory you have for your 16 samples. So it makes sense to trim things down. Next we have an LFO. So per voice LFO, shapes are sine, triangle, saw up, saw down, square, and random. We have LFO rate, 2 bars, 4 bars, 1/32, 1/16, 1/8. Let's go to 2 bar for now. LFO depth. Our targets are many of the automatable parameters, so none means nothing in this case. Velocity, pan, pitch, tuning, delay, reverb, filter, filter resonance, our volume, ADSR attack, decay, sustain, release, sample start, sample end. Those are fun to play with LFO. Back to nothing. So we can have a listen to that in just a bit. Next we get to sample mode, and now things start to get interesting because up to this point we've just played in single mode, where a sample gets triggered and it plays until the end or until it gets triggered again, whatever comes first. Not so interesting for a kick drum, so let's go find another sample. I'm going to go to voice 3 and I'm going to go load something longer there. Let's go to our browser. I'm going to go to, oops, I'm in the kicks folder. I'm going to go to our, let's see, I have a breaks folder. There we go, breaks. I'm not sure what tempo we're in, but anyways, let's find a sample to play. This will work. 104 BPM, let me remember. It's asking me where to put it, of course, so I'm going to say I'm on voice 3, so let me select sample slot 3. And it will import that, and now it sits there. I must just trigger it. Of course, it's not going to be in sync because our current BPM is 122. Let me get it a little bit closer. Let's go to say 112. But you will recall that that loop was at 108 BPM. So one thing that I can do is I can now go to our sample mode, and instead of selecting single, which is as I described before, let's go to slice 16, where it takes your sample and it slices that into 16 equal parts. Now when I trigger it, you're just going to hear one slice. To hear your other slices, obviously you can add the steps, and we'll do that in just a bit. But I forgot to mention that there's another way to enter steps. So right now we are in, step entry mode, but I can also go to live play mode. I'm holding F8 and pressing voice 6 there. And now I can trigger the individual slices. So that's definitely fun also for live recording stuff. But for now, let's go back to our step entry mode, and I'm just gonna add all these steps in. That works, but it sounds like it's playing back at double speed. So I'm on voice 3. Currently, our division is set to 16ths. So every step is 1/16th long, but because it sounds like double time, let's slow that down. Hold my voice button, and A2 will give us 8ths instead of 16ths. So now we'll play back at half the speed. That's sounding a lot better. Now the other sample mode that we could use is transient. Actually, let's make a recording because that might make more sense. I'm going to mute all but the kick drum right now. To mute a voice, you just double click it. So that one's muted. 2 wasn't playing anything. Voice 2 wasn't playing anything. I'm going to go to my voice 4 here, and then I'm going to make a recording of our microphone. And to record, you press record and play. So F1 and F8. Right now it's telling us that it's set to record off the microphone, which is what we want. And I could use the switch, like I said, to switch to line, but for now we want to be in microphone. It says hold A1 to B8 to record, so we'll do that. I'm on voice 4, so let's use that sample slot to prevent confusion. I'm going to hold it. I get a count in. Hey, this is a test to see what we can record. And I press anything to stop. And the reason I spoke like that is because I want to see if we can slice, if the auto transient detection can slice to those words, which could be fun. We're on voice 4. Let's set our sample mode to not slice 16, but slice transient. And let's once more go to our live play mode.
Hey, this is to
Okie doke, and that worked as expected, although it's not particularly musical. So with that done, I wonder if we want to sequence something with that. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll play, and to record something, I'll double tap F1, and now I'll just play something in. So that's unquantized. To quantize that, let's hold F8 and yes, and voice 4, and that gives us quantize. It says F5, that's voice 4. To OK. I OK it. Okay, and now we are in sync. Let's add some delay and reverb to that for fun and profit. Okay, so up next we have our ADSR, our envelope. So let's, on the same voice, mess around with the envelope. Let's change the attack for now. It works as you expect, so I'm not really going to go through all of that, but we have, it's a normal ADSR with attack, decay, sustain, release. Cool. And then up next is our filter. So using that same voice, it's a DJ style filter. The high pass at the top, pass 12 o'clock on the dial, and low pass to the bottom. Let's add some resonance to that. Okay, and again, apologies for that sample. But with that, let's just also demonstrate then the LFO. I know I was on sine. Oops, sorry, let's stay on sine and go leave the rate and the depth alone and target the filter FLT. That sounds more fun. Cool. So that's all. Filter. Up next, trigger modes. So here things also get interesting because up to now we've only triggered forward. I can trigger backwards. I can loop. So let's just get rid of these steps so we can hear a loop. So that sample slice is looping very quickly and it almost gets into audio territory, which might be something we want to try out. I'm going to go to a new voice. I'm going to kill this one. Go to new voice, voice 6. I'm going to go load a single cycle. These are Adventure Kit ones that I've used actually on the TB2 synth as well. But let's go load a single cycle wave. Loaded. I want to load it to slot 6. And it's there. And now I need to set the trigger mode to looping. That's loop pendulum. Hang on. Arpeggiator, looping arpeggiator. There we go. There we go. Now we can hear our arpeggiator. And I think that took us all the way through. Let me see. Trigger modes. What did I forget? Oh, conditional triggering. So with the arpeggiator playing, I may as well show this as well. Right now, each of these steps are set to play 100% of the time. I can bring this down to, say, 50% of the time. And obviously, like anything else, I'm going to hold certain steps. So let's say steps, these ones should always play. I've already set the other ones to play 50% of the time. Okay, that took us through all of the per voice settings. I think in a future video I'll look at the master settings, but that's where we're going to leave it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that gives you some sense of what this instrument is about.